Hey everybody, this is Tracy with Color Me This. This is episode 197. It is our weekly color. This has been a huge week for me in coloring wise, as well as in real life, and I am on the other side. I'm so glad that I have completed all of the goals I set forth for myself. For this week, we are going to start with Romantic Country, which I did get the fireplace with the two kitties finished. I didn't go as elaborate as maybe I would have liked to, but time was of the essence, and so this is the finished page. The part that I owed you mainly was the floor. I also did some work, a little bit of work that I mean in real life I can tell, but I don't know if on camera it's noticeable. I had created this shadowed space behind the insert and realized that it was the wall, so I have added some green to it, and I even added some random wallpaper, just a hint of it that I can see if I look carefully, but for whatever reason it makes me feel better the way it looks now than the way it did look initially. I did all the floor. I went with the simplest floor possible due to the interest of time, but it works well enough for me. It is the like a minimal part of the scene, so I think it will work fine. And then I had to put the very last thing I did was add the blue to the collar of the kitty in front of the fireplace. I added some shadows around the frames. This is the glow of the light, so I made the shadow lines be on the outsides and the top. Let's see, I have not put these two. I just left plain white for the moment. They might always be just white. I could make them soft green if this person really likes green as much as I like green, but I figured for today's purposes of reviewing the finishing of the whole page, I think it'll be fine. And then I see one more thing. That is the only white book left. I had already done the gold and silver accents on it, and so I just left it. I think it looks just fine the way it is. So, some statistics I wanted to gather that I didn't gather is how many pencils that I had used on this page, because it was a pretty big project. So at some point I might summarize the total count of the arrtx pencils that I used. I will tell you that for these shadowy areas I did, and then even around and up the stovepipe, I did use a blender pencil. Today I just grabbed whatever was nearest me, which is the Prismacolor, and I don't know if this is normal, but I have had this around and it's been used and noticed the Prismacolor is wearing off. So I used this blender pencil. Don't know if it's focused, but there it is. I did some erasing. I didn't really do too much as far as special embellishing or special tools go. I thought the arrtx pencils performed fantastic. They're a lovely pencil. They're not like a flashy pencil, and they're not a dull, boring pencil. They're just a very good, solid working pencil, in my opinion. Let me know what you think. I love to hear from you guys, and that is all I really have to say about this. I don't even know, since it's the very first page I've done, if you would say what would you have wanted to do different. I don't really have anything that I would have wanted to do different. I need a lot more pages under my belt before I'm going to be able to articulate what is wrong with this picture. And what I can't wait to see is 6 months down the road or 1 year down the road, comparing it to the latest coloring pages to this page. Then I might have something to talk about. So there's one completed page using one pencil set. And I'm going to put that way out of the way. There will be a showcase at the end that will show these finished pieces. The second page I completed was a whip from last week. No, it was a whip from 2 weeks ago. I'm only going to share it as a finished page, and then I have a video I'm going to do next with this as part of it. So that is all I'm going to share, and yes, it uses the Pablos. So it's going off to the side. So that's a second completed page. We are hitting a record today. Okay, now Small Victories. I'm going to zoom down more because this is a smaller book. It is the book that started it all. Stop shaking. Okay, so I completed 2 pages this week. It's really technically 1.5. I have my jars. I did 2 jars this week. Arrtx, Farben. That's not even, I'm gonna just cover that. It's got lots of shiny things to look at. So let's talk about the 4 sets of pencils. So this week on this page I used 2 sets of pencils. The Arrtx, which is a 72 set, and the other way, Farben, which is a 96 set. For last week's sets, it was Marie's and the Kalour 120 black barrel that comes in the tube, which is different than the sets that have the numbers for all of the bigger sets, you know, the 180, the 240, the 300 and on up. I think it's pouring down rain. Yep. Boy, every time I talk to you guys, it's thunder and lightning and pouring down rain, but it's always in the afternoon. Okay, so let's talk about some words that I have put aside for the pencils. I feel that looking at these, the most... Oh, there's our thunder. And there's our frog. This is my buddy. I don't know if he keeps his family there. I don't know how long frogs live, but I have had that frog, or one that sounds just like it, on that side of me since we've moved in. That's how I know I'm at home. All right, so looking at the 4, I don't think this one is quite as vibrant as the other 3. That is a 120 set, so there were plenty of opportunities to go dark. Marie's look pretty vibrant. The Arrtx, I'm happy with the purple vibrancy, but not happy with the coral and the green. And that's probably a function of 72 pencils instead of 100 or 120. And I thought that the color of the Farben was nice as far as vibrancy goes. So if I had to put them in order of vibrancy, I would probably pick Marie's. I hope you're seeing this as well. Farben. I could have maybe not picked a dark enough color of the purple on that one, maybe, but because we don't know and we're just judging on what the finished product is, I give Arrtx the vibrancy because of the purples and how the purples came out. And then this is the Kalour in the tube. Now let's talk specifically about the 4 pencils. I wrote some notes. And I probably also told you guys these back in with each of the videos where I was coloring using them. I find the Marie's a very easy to manipulate pencil. Whatever the formula is just very easy to give and take. You can stretch your colors out, you can blend your colors, you can lighten it up, you can darken it up. If you accidentally do a dark line because your pressure is inconsistent, it's a very forgiving pencil and you can just melt away the dark line that you accidentally put. And that's significant because one of the other 3 sets is the opposite. I have a very big challenge with trying to get rid of any dark lines if my pressure is at all inconsistent. And I am very sorry it's getting dark now because we have the thunder and the lightning, so this is a little bit darker. I might try the light because I don't want you guys to not be able to see what's going on. This is just some indirect light that I hope does not make the images too bright. We'll just do that. All right. So the, yeah, no harsh lines. They stay very soft. They're not like a buttery, creamy, oily soft, but they are a very soft pencil. Very easy to manipulate. Okay, the next one. I'm going to go to the Black Barrel in the tube, Kalour 120s. I always say that these are super fast to work with. They go down really easy. It's super fast. I feel that because they go down so easy, that makes them a really good beginner pencil, because you don't have to struggle or, you know, really feel like you have to work and work and work. You can just put it down and it looks good. However, it does burnish before I'm ready, because I'm not a beginner pencil colorist. I want to do more with them, and they do that burnishing where they turn slick, and when they turn slick, you can no longer put layers down. I come from a using many light layers background, and so that makes these want to be finished before I'm ready to be finished with them. However, they are a very nice, easy pencil, very pleasant to work with. Third ones, arrtx. I find that the 72 limits my ability to fully judge them first, because I am used to a full palette of 120. I do think that they are not as easy to blend as the Maries are. If you get a dark line, you got to do a little work. You don't necessarily have to go to an eraser, but they definitely are just not. If I had to just compare head to head the arrtx with the Maries, I will give the edge for the Maries. And again, if I had the 120 set, I might feel differently. Now, price wise, I know that the arrtx are, I think, in the $60 range if you do want to buy the 120s from the manufacturer, which I believe right now is the only way you can get them unless you find them used. Marie's is a $49-ish. I think I paid $48. And then at the time I was buying, they had these coupon where you would get so many dollars off your next order, depending in a ladder, so depending on how much you spent. And I've noticed that Temu doesn't have that anymore, which means the extra bonus edge that they had is sort of gone, and the excitement has gone out, because I can't go into Temu with the whole idea of doing a double sale where I put half of my money that I want to spend in the first sale to get the coupon to buy the really cool thing in the second half of the sale. So I just don't get so excited anymore about Temu, and you do have to wait for the products to arrive. Last set. This is the Farben. I do really like them. They are a nice pencil to work with, but I do have to watch my pressure. They are not easy to fix if you get any streaking. I find that, and this is not a fair judgment, because I did have to go with the navy blue, and the navy blue makes the streaks more visible. So I can't really judge right now between the 4 sets which one has the most, oh, that's going to be loud, which one has the most streakiness, because I know that from my eye, Marie's has the least. Along the outside edges is mainly what I'm looking at. It's very mottled and smoothish looking. I see some streaks down here on the arrtx. I see some streaks with the Kalour. And then I definitely see some streaks. But I always go linear with the sky. I did not scrumble or do the ovals. I did make it linear. I loved the, here's the dark on the left. You can see that I have these lines, and I wasn't really able to smooth it out. And then the purple, if I'm being super picky, didn't get really butted up close to the black, because with this book there is a little bit of a resist when you first lay down your pencil right up next to, like it's a dark color, right up next to the black line. You do have to work it a bit with some of the pencils. They won't just go lay down right next to the black for whatever reason. So I have can streak. Here's the next thing. Now let's talk about the white and the appearances of the white on the 4 sets. I feel that the vibrancy of the white on the Maries and the Kalour is about the same. Very vibrant, very vivid. Again, I used this. I used the arrtx extra fine tip. It is an acrylic white. I find on the second row, this is pretty good, though for whatever reason, not quite as vibrant as the top 2. I'm not sure why. However, I suspect it has something to do with the water solubility of the pencils. I know that Arteza, there is something about them being not waterproof, water resistant, whatever you want to call it. Water does move them, and I know that I have the newer set, and I know that there's water movement issues, that it caused a big stink. I don't mind the water movement, but I can tell you that I can see that there is a tinge of blue on the white. Interestingly enough, the Spearer Farben is the same thing. I even, because unfairly so, or they should be able to handle it no matter what, I had to use the darker blue. I definitely see staining in my whites, and this is acrylic paint. It is not just a gel pen. So these 2 at the bottom don't rate as high as far as the ability to add the white highlights and keep it looking really crisp. The top 2 did better. I believe that sums up my notes for this particular set of 4 jars. They were awesome. I've never done glass or reflection like this before, except for back a few pages. I did a very small jar here, and a snow globe was my very first one, and that was a fail, and we're going to have a big thunderclap. There it is. I just think that's so funny. It really isn't that stormy here in Florida. The rest of the day before and after this squall will be beautiful. All right, so lovely, loved the jars. I have the feeling this is one of my top pages that I have done. At some point, when I get to that halfway point, which I'm only like 3 pages away, I will evaluate and I will grade as best I can. I'll group them into my, my most favorite, my good ones that are lacking, and if I had any total fails, I will tell you all about them. And then the next picture that I colored, I am very proud of. And that is this lovely aquatic picture. Definitely the aquatic scenes. For whatever reason, I just really enjoy them, and they always come out beautiful. I was very intimidated initially about doing this page, and I did not color pick at all ahead of time. I did watch a color along. It was my Colorful Country Life doing this page. What did I glean from that? There was a couple of things that I did do based on what she had done, but it ended up, I am my own colorist, and I thought of following along with her color schemes initially, but right off the bat I just went my own direction, and that's what typically happens with me. I guess I don't follow directions well. So I used a bunch of pencils. I don't have the full count of them. All I need to do is just walk down my description list for the 196, which was the last day, because I think I used everything that day. What you didn't get to see in the last was how you did get to see me do the glitter pen. The glitter pen is actually quite subtle now that it's all dry. I almost want to go back over one more coat. With the Pablos, by the way, that's what I colored these with, and this page is going to be used for my Pablo detailed walkthrough, and this is probably my best project in the book so far. You guys didn't get to see this funny sprig, the edge of this clam, if that's what that is, and you didn't get to see this upper corner, nor did you see that I did the bubbles. And what did I do with the bubbles? I used a color, it's a stickle called Waterfall that I recently bought. I bought it, there was a turquoise that ended up dying, and I bought 2 colors to replace the turquoise, of which neither of these are turquoise, but I just really liked them. So I bought True Blue and I bought Waterfall. What I had done in the back further, the other aquatic that was probably then my favorite page is this one here. And I used a Stickles, one of these 5, what I call the Aurora Borealis, or AB. And each one of them has a different tone to it. I hope that as I move this around, you can see that one has a little more blue, one has green. Stardust is more of a neutral rainbow, and Twinkle has more blue. Diamond is more orange. So that's why I am glad I have 6 different, what I would call the Aurora Borealis, or clear with the twinkly colors. And that one of those, which I hopefully have written down somewhere, it's probably back on the video, all of the little bubbles are done with that. So I envisioned that that is what I would use. Over here I did Waterfall, this particular one, for the bubbles. So then when I came back over here, in the end, Hub and I were both evaluating. I think I picked Stardust as the best neutral clear. Stardust was my color that I picked because it picks up a little bit of all of the colors, and this is very colorful. But we both agreed that Waterfall would look the best. So when I did this Waterfall, it has warped the paper a little bit, and it was very slow to dry. I'm in a humid climate, so I do have a crafting heat gun, and if you struggle at all with you want to use Stickles, but every time you use Stickles, you end up with needing to set the page off somewhere for, hours at a time, and you worry that you're going to forget and put something on it. Buy a cheap heat gun. Go to Hobby Lobby or Joann's with a coupon and just get one, and you will not regret it. I use it all the time for all sorts of things. The craziest thing I use my heat gun for, when you have black rubber on a car and it gets oxidized, in our case, our golf carts, I actually take the heat gun to the black rubber, and it makes it bright as brand new black. It's amazing what heat will do for oxidized rubber. So that's my extra tip for the day. So this particular page is using the Pablos. I arbitrarily chose the Pablos because I want to get my detailed walkthrough done. And these are, again, talking about the pencils in general, they are like a polychromos because they're pretty dry. And this is a very smooth paper. So what you can do, when I do the light, when I did this fish, I believe I even videoed this, where I did the dark to the light. Then when I was blending out the light over the whole thing, which is a thing I like to do, I noticed that this darker, the color's called aubergine, and it faded a little bit. It just turns into a kind of a matte finish, and it picks up a little bit of that light apricot color. So I went back over with the aubergine, and it brightened it back up. Alternatively, if you have like a polychromos or a Pablo or any pencil that you consider dry, that when you do use colors over colors, the lighter color will kind of make the darker color look flat, you can use a blender pencil. You can try a piece of napkin. I also, though this is not a type of pencil that burnishes to a really bright finish, I did use a blender pencil, but in this case these are a Caran d'Ache product, so I used the Caran d'Ache Full Bright blender to get these. The whole background has been blendered, and so it did turn waxy. You can probably, hopefully I'm showing you the, there we go, yeah, the shine. These are not shiny. They turn shiny because I used this on it, but this is the same brand of product, and boy did it really make the Pablo's colors pop. It just turned out really beautiful. These fans were also, because of the dark purple color and the way it lays down, and I was going in linear, along the length of these thin, slender lines. I had some long bits of white space where the tooth came through, and so I used this all through these. I didn't use it at all on the blue and these fans, not on the teal. Just certain areas of this page really begged for me to put some colorless blender on. I even think a liquid color blender like an alcohol marker might do a fantastic job. But I'm going to do the tests when I do my walkthrough, and we will test the liquid blender versus the blending stump, which I don't think will work well, but I have not done it yet. And I believe that this pencil will do great. So the other area of interest, where I think the Pablos shine and is part of them being a professional pencil, is that you can mix colors. This color is charcoal gray, and then in here you see it turns pink. That is a light glaze of aubergine. I had already laid down the charcoal gray going lighter and then darker back into the grass. Technically, looking at this now, I could clean it up. I could really spend some time and make it look fabulous, but I think it still looks great. So after the aubergine with a light glaze over the light coat of the gray, I then added grayish beige, which is very pale, and it blended these three colors beautifully all the way down this right side. The ability to color and take two colors, mix them together for a third color like we have through here, also worked on the fish. Blending, believe, is scarlet and aubergine, then taking the apricot over the top of that gives this beautiful vivid color change, color shift. And then I had two areas that I wanted soft, fluffy looking, and I added lots of colors. This right here came out fantastic. And then the very last piece that you didn't get to see is I decided to mix the blue and the aqua colors on these fluffy things to make this corner looking fluffy. So that is the strength. Now, these pencils on Amazon right now are $226, and you can buy a full set of polychromos for $140, $150 on a good sale. So I do not think that anybody has to have the Pablos. I've already owned them, and I use them on different nature artistic drawings, so they were something I already had. And if you are a beginner, or maybe you have lots of pencils and you're ready to dabble in the professional pencils, I'm gonna say I own 5 sets. So the choices for me would be polychromos or Pablos. I would go polychromos. Pablos have some great color options. Polychromos has some great color options. Maybe buy a small set, maybe buy a dozen of each, and then use them and see which feels better to you. I actually am a little bit more, I lean toward the Pablos as far as how they feel, but I lean a little toward the polychromos for how they actually come out. The other comparison would be, do I buy the Lightfast or do I buy the Luminance? I would buy the Luminance all day long over buying the Derwent Lightfast, which is crazy because I actually own 2 sets of the Lightfast and 1 set of the Luminance. And then there's some smaller sets in there that I own that I would own no matter what. You know, I want my artist pencils. I have some Derwent artist specific browns, and I have the Derwent drawing. So if Pablos are at all on your radar, please just buy a small set and test them out. Even if you buy a blending set. So one of the things that they do have that I think might be a little bit better than polychromos is the blending options. This teal, I had 5 to choose from, 5 blends from light to dark, dark, dark. This olive green, I had 5, full set of 5 to compare. Blues in the Pablos, there's tons of blues in the Pablos. So you would have to compare your coloring combo needs, specifically Pablo to polychromos, because I think those are the 2 closest, and I don't think you need to have both. I don't even know if you really need to spend the money on one, because if you are a beginner or you only want the economy pencils, there's a ton of them out right now, and they all work really well. Okay, I'm done with that. Phew, I could go on forever. But I did have someone ask me about what do I think of the Pablos, and what do you think about owning them? And so that's my summary of what I think about owning them. I am happy I own them. They will always have a place in my bag, and I will continue to use them. All right, the very last thing before I go is my channel growth. So my channel views are up 21%. I am filming this Saturday, so I am missing a day. Usually I film it on Sunday, and Saturday the numbers count. So there is a one-day crossover. But it still is interesting to see. My watch time is the biggest growth for this week. I am having hours watched 58% more than the previous 7 days. It's over double, literally, than what it was. And this channel has now exceeded what my other channel's views are. After having loaded up my most watched video that I put up each month, it's about a week ago I put it up, and I am beating the watch time. And so that's great. I'm very happy with that. And that watch time is one of the requirements for being monetized, and I have already met the goal weeks ago when my watch time was only 30% more than the previous 28 days, so previous 7 days. My subscriber count is up. I think this might be maybe a record. I think I had 39 3 weeks ago, or 2 weeks ago, 2 reviews ago, we'll use that term. And then last week I had 31. And this week I am at 44, so doing very, very well. And I am pleased. And I'm glad my husband pushed me to go ahead and talk about this to everybody, because I don't want to be hiding anything that I am doing. And it does encourage anybody who's on the fence but likes my content to maybe push them over the edge of actually subscribing if they haven't already. So that is it. I will be on an airplane first thing Monday morning to go back to my hometown and hang out with my family. We're going to be selling things. I'm going to look at stuff that we have up in my mom's barn and has been sitting up there for 8 years, and we don't even know exactly what's up there. I know certain things, but not everything. So I'll color when I can. I will post videos when I can, but you will see the Pablo detailed walkthrough before Monday, because that is a goal I set for myself, so that when I come home from this trip, I will be starting off with a fresh, clean slate with a new romantic country page that we will go through. I haven't even looked through and picked ones that I might like. I will be continuing on in Small Victories at my mom's house, front to back, and then we will also I'll do a poll for my next detailed walkthrough. Or I have a set of pencils, my Black Widow sets that complete my set. It's actually a 100% complete set already in a case. That might be what I really want to do for my next walkthrough. So until then, everybody take care. Happy coloring. Do all the YouTube things, like, share, comment, and consider subscribing. And I will see you very soon at the Pablo detailed walkthrough.